Good morning.
Good morning.
Do we have, I was waiting for Trevor's wave. No, guess not. I'm Brendan here with Trevor, and we got Gib in the back.
Hello.
Glad you're with us, friends, and we have comments already. People were already guessing the weather quiz without even putting it up.
I didn't even put it, yeah, like what?
Joel,
Well, they saw it earlier, so.
I think Joel may have seen it maybe on our first Facebook Live, perhaps.
Probably.
So yeah, it'd be great to know where you're watching from and weather reports. I'm sure that always helps out, right, Trevor?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so where do you want to go from here?
Well, we can start with the weather quiz. I guess since a lot of people seem to already know what it is, we can just address that first. Largest hailstone, we're talking about hail, so I guess severe weather question, of course. Largest hailstone to fall in our viewing area. So we're talking about specifically just northern Michigan, basically everything north of Gladwin County and obviously the eastern upper counties, the three eastern upper counties, everything south and west of like Luce County and western Mackinac County do not count in this. In our viewing area, the largest one is 4¼ inches in diameter. That's great. That's very big, by the way. 4¼ inches. It's like it's pretty big.
Do some
it's a
damage.
pretty big hailstone. Oh yeah, no, like if that were to hit a car or your window or whatever may have you, it's breaking it or shattering it for sure. And that fell almost just about 10 years ago, August 2nd, 2015. Where was that recorded? Which one of the three places that's listed there did that happen?
We'll have that answer, and then we'll go over your guesses. Shoot, I got out of the... Anyway, I switched to the wrong video. We'll have those answers coming up in a few minutes.
Yep.
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Weather time.
Weather time. Yep. I wasn't sure if you were going to add anything else. I don't have anything. Usually I elaborate on the question. I don't really have anything to add to that because I was very out of it this morning and I just stole the one that Joe used previously. Today's forecast looks pretty good. There's a lot of sunshine in it. There's still a little bit of haze. I think at this point I'm convinced that every day we'll have haze until there's not haze. So at this point it's kind of like a deal with it sort of thing. Whenever Canada decides to stop smoking, we will stop having haze. It's kind of how I look at it. For right now, temperatures in the higher 40s, low mid 50s, and even some low 60s. So we're still warming up. Generally, temperatures will be colder today. We're only expecting temperatures to be in at most the mid 70s. So anywhere from the high 50s to the low and mid 70s, which is definitely below average for sure. We should not be seeing any 50s this time of year, but I think we will see a few today, especially up north in the eastern upper. We are going to have light north and northwest wind today, potentially even northeast. It really depends on where you are. If you're along Lake Huron or close to it, you'll see more of a northeasterly wind. If you're in the interior, it'll probably be more of a north wind. And if you're on the shorelines of Lake Michigan, it'll probably be more of like a northeasterly wind. I'm sorry, northwesterly. So it depends on where you are, but generally speaking, northern wind, and that's going to keep our temperatures on the cooler side today, even with abundant sunshine, which I think we will see for the majority of the day. I want to take a look at the visibility, and we actually do still have fog. I was wondering, I wanted to take a look at this because I wasn't sure if we still had some fog or not, but we've had fog. Very high relative humidity for the last couple of days. Whenever sometimes you get into these holding patterns where there's a lot of humidity that just kind of gets stuck close to the ground, and you have days like recent memory where we've been raining kind of on and off, and we haven't really had a large wind or a large pattern to kind of move out all of the humidity close to the ground. And so when stuff like that happens, you typically get mornings like this on a repetitive basis where you just have a lot of fog close to the ground. So we had that again this morning. We still have, at the very least, patchy fog in some spots. It looks like Gaylord is only down to 5 statute miles, Traverse City 7, 9 in Manistee, and 9 in Sault Ste. Marie. And of course, some of that could also be haze too, because again, there is still a little bit of haze today. I don't think it'll be nearly as noticeable as yesterday, but there will still be some haze. There's a look over radar. Show you this now, if it loads. There we go. If you look down to the south at the bottom of the map, that radar or that rain is obviously well off to the east now. That's what we got earlier this morning. Only our southern counties got that. So basically, Cadillac over towards Houghton Lake, West Branch, and anything south of there, Big Rapids, Mount Pleasant included in that, Paris, Fredericksburg, all included in areas that got some rain this morning. Not much. Our weather watcher, Kelly, in Paris, reported only a trace. Some probably got more than others. That's usually how it works. But generally speaking, light showers. That's moved off to the east, and it's going to take a lot of cloud cover off with it, and it already has. You can see most of northern Michigan is now in a sunny pattern, and it's going to stay that way for the majority of the day. We'll take a look over Stormcast. I'm going to remove the time points. Going to speed through the next few hours here. Going into the afternoon, same thing. Again, still a northerly wind for the most part. We're going to have that all day. It's not going to be overly breezy. It won't be like yesterday where we'll have sometimes breezy conditions. We're not really expecting any very high fire danger today like we did yesterday. Should be a pretty quiet day overall and cooler. Now, later in the afternoon, this same system is kind of just a separate part, detached from the same system. We'll begin to see more rain showers as we enter the forecast. Mainly in our southern counties. I think in the afternoon there's potential for some of our southern counties to see a few quick pop-up showers, stray showers, nothing large, nothing long-lasting, significant, or anything like that. At the very least, some light showers. And it's just possible. I'm not even sure if that's actually going to happen. But later in the evening is when we're going to pick up more of our shower chances. At this point, increasing cloud cover past around 4 or 5 o'clock or so, increasing rain chances. And then the system moves slightly northward and then kind of stalls out on the edge of one of our temperature barriers that usually cause systems like this. And once we get overnight, you can see we get into what I would like to call, I guess I can call it like a holding pattern, where we just have a very large band of rain that just moves east to west. It doesn't really move north or south, and it kind of drives right through the region. Again, this will pick up overnight tonight. And a lot of the straits, parts of the southern parts of the eastern upper, Mackinac County, the Bridge, St. Ignace, parts of Drummond Island, and then southern Chippewa and Luce County, and then all the way down to the northern lower in the straits. I think the areas that are going to get the most rain are definitely going to be the straits in the northern lower. So just everything south of the bridge, and I think generally north of the Traverse City-Alpena line. So we're talking about Charlevoix, Petoskey, Pellston, Sheboygan, Rogers City. Looks like Wolverines in there, Vanderbilt, those areas. Elmira, Mansalona, you get the picture. I think they'll probably get the most of this rain. We'll end up seeing exactly where that mostly ends up lining up and where. When it's all said and done, who ends up getting the most rain. But that's what I'm thinking as of right now. And so you'll wake up to that in the morning. And again, because it's moving east to west and not north or south, it's just kind of linger around for almost the entire day. So it won't really start to depart until the afternoon. Getting into the evening, we're looking at like 5, 6 o'clock now. Things will start to wind down. The system will weaken and then move slightly southward. We'll begin our weekend, and we'll still have the lingering remnants of this same system, although not nearly as widespread and not as consistent. And then we'll decrease cloud cover in the second half of the weekend, and then we get to our Father's Day, which has trended a little cooler and a little bit more cloudy over the past couple days. A few days ago, we were looking at Father's Day. It looked like it was going to be full sunshine. Temperatures could have gotten into the 80s. We've trended a little bit reverse of that now. We've got a little more cloud cover forecasted. Temperatures a little cooler, but still in the 70s, which is right around the average. So overall, it still looks like a good day. We'll keep you updated on that. I mean, we're getting closer to time, so we've got a pretty good idea of what it looks like now. But still a good day, and there shouldn't be any rain. That's pretty much all I really have. We'll cap off with the extended 7-day. The main focus is going to be tomorrow in the Straits region. Actually, now that I think about it, I want to take a look at the actual rain forecast. Most of this is going to happen over the course, like a large portion of the day tomorrow. So whenever we're this far out, the rain forecast isn't always super accurate, but I want to look at it anyways, just because. Let's see, what is this saying? Okay, so that's lining up with right about what I was thinking. Right along the straits, south of the bridge. Could be potentially up to an inch. Looks like at least half an inch, if not more. North of the Traverse City-Alpena line, yeah. Looks like that lines up with about what I was saying. So yeah, anywhere in that region denoted by the blue, or at least very close to that, expect a decent amount of rain tomorrow. Southern, eastern, upper, you're included in that too. And now we'll go to the 7-day extended forecast. That'll be the wettest day of the week for sure. Again, not everybody's going to get a crazy amount of rain. So if you're in our southern counties, you may not end up getting anything tomorrow. But there's a lot of people that are focused close to the straits. So we'll say generally the wettest day of the week tomorrow for most people. Lingering showers on that early Saturday to start the weekend. Still some cooler temperatures. We're expecting low 60s and low 70s on Saturday. So definitely still below average, as we would expect with lingering rain, lots of cloud cover, and a not southerly wind. And then things will change on Sunday. Again, still trending, we've been trending a little more cloudy, a little cooler for Father's Day the past couple of days, but it still looks like 70s, which is not bad. And then we get towards next week where it looks like we get back into a very typical spring pattern, which is a consistent southerly wind with higher temperatures and very hard to predict isolated to potentially even scattered pop-up spring showers. What we've had having recently is more of a holding pattern for just a bunch of garbage that we really shouldn't be getting this time of year. Next week looks a little bit more normal for summer. Very isolated pop-up showers that don't last long with warmer temperatures and a lot of sunshine. And again, we'll keep you up to date on the haze. As I said at the beginning of the forecast, at this point, I've given up. I shouldn't say I've given up, but like, you know, when you have the same thing for over 10 or 12 days in a row, you just kind of like, at this point, expect it until it's gone. Mm-hmm. We will still have a little bit of haze today, very likely tomorrow, and probably Sunday too, until otherwise we don't have it.
All right. We'll say hi to our friends who are commenting. Chris is watching from East Lansing. Joel is saying good morning from Pleasanton. It's 59 and sunny. He's heading to work soon. Hi, Joel. Paul is watching from Rogers City. Robert saying good morning, Trevor and Brendan. It's 56. Sunny conditions there in Indian River. Mark is saying good morning from Mayo. It's 59 and sunny. Joel is guessing West Branch for the weather quiz.
Oh, right. I got to pull it back up.
Gail is saying good morning again from Kingsley. 60 degrees, and she's sending that sunshine emoji. And a heart emoji, too. Thanks, Gail. Paula is back.
Hard for me?
What's that?
Is that hard for me?
It could be.
Yay! Like
Paula, missed you yesterday, Paula. She's saying good morning from Boyne Falls. 60 degrees and sunny. She's talking hockey. She says, go Oilers. There's a game tonight, apparently, Trevor.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about it?
Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. We can get to my thoughts on that in a little bit whenever we've got some more time to work with and we go through some more of the comments. Is there anybody else saying anything? I'd like to at least get through the weather quiz first.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Alice is saying good morning, Facebook friends. It's 58 in Alpena and sunny. We're seeing those sunshine emojis, sunflower emojis. We love it. And Alice is saying hi to Gib. And then Gib is saying hi to Alice. What else do we have here? Gail going with West Branch. Gail saying hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Gail. Susan is saying good morning. It's sunny and 58 in Kalkaska. Susan's going with West Branch. I have my mom watching from Port Huron. Hey, Mom. She's saying good morning, Facebook friends. Have a good day, everyone. Great job, Brendan, Trevor, and Gib. Wally is going west. I think he means West Branch there.
Yeah.
Paula also going with West Branch. Chris going with that as well. Jackie is on her way to Weight Watchers, and her car says 62. So wherever she is between Kalkaska and Traverse City, it's 62. Hi, Jackie.
Sounds about right.
And then Mark said, was not Mayo? Question mark.
Stick around to find out.
Yeah.
Was it Mayo?
Find out. Gail wants to know, what's the weather going to be like Saturday morning in Manistee, Trevor?
Manistee. I think Manistee should. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where it's going to line up, but I was talking about the potential. There's very likely going to be lingering showers in the beginning of Saturday from that same system that we're tracking that's going to give us rain tonight. I am trying to find the longer range forecast because the one that I was using doesn't go out far enough. Now I will say you're in if you're talking about Manistee specifically, that's in the northern lower in the area that could get some. I will say that I do not think the eastern upper will get any rain on Saturday. Any rain showers that we do still have will be in the northern lower on Saturday. And again, it'll be focused to the morning. Anything beyond the late morning and early afternoon, you should be dry by then. Why can I not find this graphic? This is what happens when you're not organized.
Looking for the her.
No, I'm looking for the graph. The her doesn't go
graph.
out long enough.
Oh, okay.
So the graph actually has a slightly more northerly pattern. So here's like, again, kind of, the graph doesn't always do the greatest with small mesoscale things, but late Friday into Saturday morning, you still see inside that embedded cloud band, there is energy mixed in there. And then you see later in the day, it kind of dissipates a little bit. Now, this graph does not, the graph does not do a good job of showing it. But what I think, my take on this is that anywhere in the northern, especially inland, it's not, I think you have significantly less chance the closer you get to Lake Michigan. If you're in Manistee, then obviously you're close to Lake Michigan. But you still have the chance in the northern lower, south of, I would say south of Charlevoix, or south of Elmira, south of Mansalona, to get a few isolated showers and certainly some cloud cover on Saturday morning. So you're not in the clear. If you want to know, the exact forecast for Saturday morning, it's at the very least mostly cloudy with a small chance for light showers. I would say probably 20 to 30% chance, if that, maybe even a little bit lower.
All right. That's why we do these things, your personalized forecast. And Gail said, thank you, going salmon and trout fishing. So that, I'm guessing, is why she wanted to know. All right, let's go back up. And then Wally saying for the question, we have a question of the day that we asked during the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
From 4:30 to 7. We were asking about remodeling areas of your home and which one would you do first, which area would you do first. Apparently he would leave things the way that they are. So he's good with the way that his
I think
place is
generally
set up.
speaking, if you could have the choice to just not mess up what you're used to, then you would go with that. Mm-hmm. That's why people don't like moving. It's like, why would you move out of the house that you spent, house or apartment that you spent very likely years in?
Sure.
It's tough. As someone who just moved recently, it's tough.
And we're like, how did I get so much stuff over the years?
Yeah, I know. I came to northern Michigan with 2 suitcases and a couple guitar bags, and I moved with easily 10 times that amount of stuff, if not a lot more.
We have Tom saying happy Thursday. Thanks for watching, Tom. Susie Q is in Traverse City on her way to Weight Watchers. It's 58, and then she has an eye appointment for cataracts. So thanks for chiming in, Susie Q. Per usual, one of our faithful viewers. We have Ethan. He's been watching for a bit, too. He's saying good morning, Trevor, Brendan, and Gib. He's going with West Branch as well. In terms of the weather quiz, and Trevor already covered his bases from where he got the weather quiz. Gail said I was going to call you out, but I won't.
Yeah.
Gail watches all of our newscasts.
Right, yeah, I know.
Yeah. And Heather does the same thing sometimes. And then Joe sometimes will use the weather quizzes from the morning. So you guys share.
Yeah, sometimes we just share. If we're short on time or if we just don't feel like it, sometimes we'll share.
Yeah. Mark is saying good morning from Fremont, Indiana. Everyone have a great day. Thank you, Mark. Susie Q is going with West Branch. Ethan is reporting 63 and hazy sunshine there in Sioux City. 1 week until my vacation back to Michigan. Sounds like he's counting down.
Yep.
Thomas said, good morning, gentlemen. 64, clear and sunny on Bois Blanc Island. Said, wow, first day in forever, we can clearly see Sheboygan. That's
Yeah.
good, with all that haze.
Haze and fog and whatnot.
Yeah. Mayo is his guess, and he's saying God bless. Joshua saying good morning, folks. It's another beautiful day here. Trevor, how are you holding out on your second early morning? He wants to know.
It's normally this doesn't happen. Usually it gets better. It did not this time. I'm having a harder time this morning than I was last morning, and that's because I got even less sleep.
Less than 90 minutes?
Yes.
Oh.
And I also didn't sleep well. I didn't sleep well when I got back. Usually what I do, for those who don't know, is it's extremely hard to change my schedule from when I can normally go to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night and wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard over the course of only like 1 or 2 days to go to bed at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening and try to be up by 2 o'clock in the morning. So what I do instead is, if possible, I get as much sleep as I can beforehand, and then I just come to work with very little sleep, and then I get all my sleep when I go back. Like, so I'll go back later in the morning and I'll sleep through the afternoon and early evening. Usually I'll wake up around 4 or 5 o'clock or so, and then I'll just stay awake through the show, do the same thing. Yesterday I woke up, I got to bed probably around 11 and woke up at like 1 in the afternoon. I couldn't go back to bed. So I got 2 hours of sleep followed by like 45 minutes of sleep. So if you count, so that's 2.5 hours today plus 1.5. I'm running on approximately 5 hours of sleep in 48 hours. And so it's, obviously like over the course of more than one day, it's more taxing the less sleep you get, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, it's been harder on me this morning than it was yesterday. It's usually not that way. I don't know what happened yesterday. I just couldn't get to sleep in the afternoon. Must be the new place. I don't know.
Maybe. You would never know it. You have a lot of energy and keeping us awake around here, so yeah, you would never know. Well, hopefully you're able to sleep through the afternoon
I certainly hope
today.
so. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble tomorrow if I can't get more than 2 hours of sleep. But.
Yeah. Ethan says he's ready. He's going to Grand Rapids, Mount Pleasant, and Traverse City on his vacation. And it looks like we're all caught up. Gib, are you following along by any chance? So, okay, we're good. So I guess if you want to reveal the weather quiz, Trevor?
So the answer is West Branch. Most people said West Branch, and I was like, there's 2 possibilities to this, one of which I think is the most likely the case. I was like, one, less likely is this is just a really people around Northern Michigan just know this, I guess. Or more likely, because it's the one I stole from Joe, because he did this. So a lot of people who chime in the morning are people who watch all of our shows, and so they've very likely seen this one. Or it could be neither of those things, and you're just a good guesser. At any rate, all 4 people got it right this morning. Our Facebook viewer and Brendan are on an absolute roll. Perfect, 4 for 4 and 3 for 3 respectively this week. We'll see if our Facebook viewer can get it right tomorrow. They'll be perfect 5 for 5. Has that ever happened before? Do you know? Perfect 5 for 5.
I was reading the comments. I'm sorry. Repeat that.
If the Facebook viewer has gotten all questions right over the course of the week.
Oh, the Facebook viewer?
Yeah.
I think so. Right, Gib?
Has it happened before?
Gib's thinking so as well. Yeah.
Well, this morning was Mark L. So if you're here, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah.
He was the one who chimed in. 4 for 4. That's impressive.
If you want to join us tomorrow morning, around 6:20 is when we reveal the question on our first Facebook Live of the day.
Right.
And then you can, if you're the first one to guess, we'll put your name in the standings. Well, we'll put your score, I suppose, in the standings, and then Trevor will mention your name on TV.
Yeah. It usually happens whenever we show the standings at like the 6, like it's around like 6:50 or something like that.
That we reveal the answer?
Well, yeah, because we show the standings after that. That's usually whenever we mention the Facebook viewer that chimed in.
That sounds about
right.
That's
like 6:50 or so. But you have to chime in at 6:20.
Yeah.
To be eligible for that.
And that's Eastern time.
And that's Eastern time, yes.
We have friends in the Central time zone, like Ethan, and he's hoping that you get more sleep, Trevor.
I certainly hope so, too.
I got less sleep last night, too, due to some anxiety. So I hear you, he says. All right, we're all caught up. So what does that mean, Trevor?
I guess that means now
well, that's not what I was going for, Gib. But we can talk about tomorrow.
We can.
I was referring to the hockey.
Yeah.
But we'll quickly talk about what's going on tomorrow. We do start our live TV show at 4:30. It goes till 7. You can watch this on TV or upnorthlive.com. We live stream there. And then Madison is going to be live at the Leland Wine and Food Festival. It's happening this weekend in Leland County, also known as Fishtown. So in case you're familiar with the area. Yeah. So there's wine.
That'll be exciting.
Food, beer as well. I was reading through the event. So her live reports start at 6. All right, we took care of business there.
All right, so I guess we could spend a little bit of time talking about the hockey. Did Paula say? Did she ask any specific questions, or did she just say go Oilers?
She just had commented, yeah, saying go Oilers.
Go Oilers. Yeah. I am going for the Panthers, just like I did last year. I think they are the better team. And I think so far throughout the course of the series, the 3 games that have been played, I think they've proven that. I made a mistake at the beginning of the playoffs, and I thought the Panthers were tired and injured enough that the Tampa Bay Lightning could handle them in like 6 or 7 games in the first round. That did not at all happen. The Panthers completely dismantled them in 5 games. And I look at the Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers are both essentially the same team, the way I look at them, in that not the way they play, but the way I perceive them in terms of the way I look at them over the course of a series. The Edmonton Oilers I have doubted multiple times. I thought they would lose to the Kings this year in the first round. They did not. I thought they would get handled by Vegas. They did not. They dismantled Vegas in 5 games. And so the Panthers, I've doubted them. I've doubted the Oilers. And so now I've got these 2 teams that I consistently, 2 teams that I didn't think would make past the first round, got to the finals this year again. And so it's a rematch of last year. And so now I'm kind of like, I'm just at the point where it's like, all right, I am no longer going to doubt any team. I'm not going to doubt either of these 2 teams until they lose. So it's like, okay, if that's the case, then how do you decide Panthers over Oilers? I decide that because the Panthers beat them last year. Like, it's a repeat of the Stanley Cup Final. Who won the Stanley Cup Final last year? Oh, it was the Oilers. Oh, not the Oilers, the Panthers. And the Panthers, I personally think, are even better this year than they were last year. And they just kicked the Oilers' butts in Game 3, 6-1. In a Stanley Cup Final game, the Oilers lost by 5 goals. I don't know. I think the Panthers got it. Whether it ends up being a 6 or 7 game series like it was last year, we'll have to wait and see. I think a lot of that is gonna be determined by how tonight's game goes. But man, the Panthers are just, they are the perfect playoff team. It doesn't matter how they do in the regular season. Throughout the course of the end of the regular season, the last like 20 games, everybody's like, every hockey analyst is like, oh, they don't look that good. They look kind of shaky. They're injured. And then they come out and just embarrass everybody. And I mean embarrass. They outscored, I forget what the exact stat was, but the Carolina Hurricanes series, which was the Eastern Conference Final, they outscored them in the 5 games that were played. They outscored them like 20-6 or something. It was ridiculous. Like the Panthers, up to this point in the playoffs, starting from round one, have won 4 games 6-1. They've won 4 different playoff games by a margin of 5 goals or more. The Oilers, I'm sorry, McDavid. I know everybody wants to see McDavid win. I don't think they can win. I don't see how you go against the Panthers. What the heck? That team is unreal. I think you can make the argument that is the best playoff team in the salary cap era. That team is better than the 2011 Bruins, the 2013 Blackhawks, the 2017 Penguins, the 2021 Bolts. I think if you take this Panthers team and you put them against any Stanley Cup winner in the last 15 years, they beat all of them. They beat all of them. That's how good I think the Panthers are. And so I'm going Panthers. And this time, I literally have money on it. I have a bet with our station manager, TJ, who will give me $20 when the Panthers inevitably win the Stanley Cup Final again. That's about all I got.
Okay. All right, let me just refresh the comments to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I think the last person on there, and Gib, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Ethan saying have a thrilling Thursday.
Thrilling Thursday.
Is that it, Gib? All right. Thanks, friends, for watching. Appreciate it. We'll be doing this again at 8:35 tomorrow. And hopefully Trevor gets a full 8 hours of sleep.
I totally need it. You can tell, right?
8 hours would be great. Yeah.
More than 2 would be very preferable, please. Otherwise, I might have to resort to an energy drink, which I don't ever do.
And then Paula was listening to all that, Trevor, saying, still rooting for Oilers. Canada needs a Stanley Cup, she says.
I think most people would agree with that. I agree with that. Like, how could you not want the home country of the sport to win a cup finally for the first time in 30 years? I think I had the same discussion last year when we were talking about the Stanley Cup final between the Panthers and the Oilers. I was like, don't get me wrong. It would be great if the Oilers won for the country of Canada, but I don't think they can win.
Why am I on, Gib?
I don't know. I said everything I need to say. I just don't think. It's exactly what I said last year. I just don't. I don't think they can win. I don't think they can.
And then Thomas says, "Wow, Trevor likes hockey."
Probably,
yeah,
honestly,
he does.
Probably a little too much because when the team that I root for the most over everybody else doesn't do good, it damages me mentally. Like when the Stars got kicked out of the playoffs in 5 games, honestly, pretty embarrassingly by the Edmonton Oilers this year, I was in the dumps for like 5 days. I just recently got over that because that happened like 10 days ago. Like my team pulled off a miracle upset win against Gibbs Avalanche in round 1. A series we should not have won, by the way. We shouldn't have won that series, the Dallas Stars. And then we beat the Jets. I thought we had the edge in that series. And then the Oilers, they kind of kicked our butts a little bit. Oh, it was kind of embarrassing. We got kind of destroyed. And so I was not happy about that for a while. That's how you know I liked hockey too much. Because when your sports team gives you legitimate stress, you probably are a little too invested. Just a little bit.
Maybe. I don't know. We all have our passions, right? All right, friends, thanks for watching here on this Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow.